Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a great day today. It was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Bounced back pretty good from yesterday's epic fail, but today wasn't as easy as it seemed. It was pretty choppy. Brought a lot of anxiety into the room, but I think we dealt with it the best way we could with a little bit of comedy, a little bit of music, and we made it through today. So we're gonna look at our day to day, but more importantly, we're gonna look at a couple of the trades I took yesterday, a couple of the losses, because it's very important. And that's really the reason why I have this caption here, wins versus losses. Because have you ever asked yourself this question? Which matters more, wins or losses? Most likely we haven't, because in our minds it's a no-brainer. We focus on winning. We love winners. We want to be around winners. We're willing to do what it takes a lot of times to win. Hell, even in this industry, everybody flocks to the person who claims they're making the most money and winning the most. But I learned early on in my teaching career that losses or failures are more important to my professional growth than the actual wins. I have this picture up because it reminds me when my students and I won our first competition. But more importantly, it reminds me of when I learned of the value of losses. You see, it took us 8 years to get to this point to win the state championship. And we're competing against all of the programs in the state. And we had to make the top 10 first, and then we had to get there. The way the contest is set up, it requires the students to take a written exam to qualify. And only the top 10 teams in the state after that test qualify for the hands-on final. This is where, you have to take that fundamental knowledge and be able to put it into practical knowledge. And, it took me, but once I realized that I could learn from my failures, we qualified every year up until we left. It took me realizing that the losses we were taking were very, very important. Now, what I started doing was interviewing the students right after the contest, and had them write, or the exam, and I had them write down all of the questions that they couldn't remember the answers to, or that they didn't know. And I kind of primed them going into it that, hey, you need to write, try to remember the questions that you don't know the answers to, or things that we didn't cover that they're covering in this test, and how they're asking you. So I started a journal, and each year I would add to it. And as the new groups of students came through, we were able to learn from the previous team's failures. And this enabled our teams to improve each year. And eventually, we cracked the top 10 after 3 years, and we didn't stop. We continued every year until I left. You see, there were some schools that had only qualified once for the top 10 in 20 years. There have been schools that had won the competition once and never made it back into the top 10. Now, I didn't want to be that school. My students, I felt, deserved more than that. And I wanted more than that for them. I wanted to consistently place in the top 10 and have a shot at winning and representing the state in the national competition that was held in Detroit. It was a beautiful trip. As soon as we get off the plane, we've got, people waiting to pick us up. We get to the hotel and they're treating us like rock stars. It's amazing the things that they got to do to go out to the Ford Proving Grounds, and it's just amazing to be able to give my students this opportunity. So every time we didn't do something or something went wrong, we had to go back, reflect on it, and, make it happen. But this would allow me, by giving them this opportunity, it would allow me to give them everything that I could to help them transition to the next level through the contacts from the contest sponsors that are there. There are multiple opportunities that we network with them. They earn scholarships to further their education, and even paid internships where they get to learn how to work in the real world before they actually get out there. The challenging part was a hands-on competition because it took us 5 years to get to it. The first year we got there, we finished third, and it was an awesome feeling. But that was the last time we finished third. We were either first or second ever since then. After we made it to the top, we couldn't be beat. We never left that competition without any hardware. And we were the only school that would consistently, be there up until the time that I left and the contest ended. And the reason we did that is because we focused on where we lost. We focused on where we missed the boat. And we came up with ways to help us be better the next time, so that the next team I took, I could prep them based on everything that we did in the past. So how does this relate to trading? Losses are part of our deal. We can't just take a loss, sweep it under the rug, or pretend it didn't happen. We can't do that if we want to get better and come out and profit more consistently. That's why I'm so adamant about reflection and investing the time into it. So again, in my mind, losses are more important than wins. Think about if you come out in trading and then you just come out on fire and the first trades you throw money at, they win. You have no viable strategy other than to buy something somebody else is saying and hold it till it gets to where they say it's going to go. And it will work for a little bit, but it's not going to work forever. Okay? You're not going to consistently be there. You're going to be like those schools I had that we competed against, where some of them, they would come this year, then they missed 3-4 years, and then they come back. They weren't consistent. And if you're not consistent, it's going to be hard to make a living in this industry. So that's why, this is very, very important. So why do losses matter more than wins? But number one, before we get into that, you got to be honest with yourself about your losses. You can't pretend that a loss didn't happen. You can't just not write it down in your journal because, I didn't mean to take that trade. It was an accident. Hell, if it's an accident, it's still a loss. So how are you going to fix, keep yourself from making that same accident again? So you got to be honest with yourself, number one. And in a sense, me trading in front of the room makes me be more honest with myself than I can ever be. Because I can't hide anything from myself. It's there. And if I try, you guys see it, and you don't let me forget it. So, it's a win-win for me in that situation. But your losses can motivate you in ways that your wins can't. It's your wins. What happens when you win and win and win? Your head gets big, your chest starts bulging out, and you think you can't do no wrong. And then you get yourself into trouble again. Your losses can help you stay humble so that you can continue to receive guidance and direction. And just yesterday, I tweeted out, I vented on the mess I ran into yesterday. And I had several people send me emails, and I'm like, thank you for sending me this. Thank you for giving me your observation. You know, it doesn't matter whether you're the student and I'm the teacher, because one thing about good teachers, they always know that they can learn from their students, because their students are living in a different world. They're seeing things through another lens. And if you get to be so high and mighty to where you can't listen to that, things aren't going to work in well for you. Okay, and they also keep you grounded. They keep you, focused on getting better, working harder, so that you can continue to grow and achieve your goals and realize your dreams. So that's why I feel that losses are more important than wins, and why we need to focus on them. So LULU, LULU was the first one to get me. You can see we started selling off right before the open. So I'm short bias right now. Right here, it could go either way. So the last 30 minutes coming into the open, it kind of made me short biased. And so that's the way I was looking. I was looking short because of what I saw here. So, this candle, this is the first 5-minute candle that printed. And, I've got two ways of trading the 5-minute opening range breakdown. I can choose the close of the 5-minute candle if we have an extended wick like this, and I could get in off of it. And worst case scenario, I'll take some off here at the wick. And if it pops back, I'll just take it all off and reset. But in this case, it went down. We put in this big wick. So this candle opened. It went back and tested VWAP here. And this was kind of an indecision candle. The price action was not very good at all. When you see candles print like this, you don't have good price action. It hasn't settled yet. But still, for some reason, I wanted to jump in here. So I get in, and we start to work. And then we blow back up, and we pull back, and we close back below the VWAP. And so I was like, okay, we'll keep trying. Now here's where I probably should have dumped this based on the price action alone. Just get out. It's not worth it. But I didn't. And you can see it ran up, and being a dummy, I'm just holding through all of this, thinking it's going to come back. It didn't. So I end up going over my max loss. Double my max loss. Instead of being down 150, I was down 300, over $300. So I was like, well, so the negative stuff started getting in me, because I lost on 3 Thursdays out of the month in November. And I was just, saying Thursdays is just not my day. Here again, I got another big loss Thursday morning. So the other stock on my watch was SAGE. And here's where I really lost it. There was no reason, guys, no reason for me to hold this thing for 6 points. None whatsoever. And honestly, I had my stop at 5 points, which is still stupid and idiotic. But I had a point slippage on this. So, eh, you know, what can you say? You know, I had a point slippage on this. And, I mean, it was just unreal, you know, what happened. Just unreal. So, you know, I go long. I'm like, well, let's buy here. Looks like we're bouncing off of this. Okay, I'm already $300 down on this first trade. Well, you know, I'm already down. What is this? 6. I forgot how much I was down all the way, but I ended up going here and then selling off and getting stopped out again. So I'm like almost, actually I was like $900 and some dollars. I accidentally cut this off, but I was like, after commissions and stuff, I was down over $900 after the morning. I mean, now you can imagine somebody like me who, you know, if I lose $600 on a whole day, I'm kind of bent. Here, it's not even 12 o'clock yet, and I'm down almost $1,000 on the day. I mean, you know, I had to. I didn't even know what to do because I didn't even know how I was feeling. That's just how crazy it was. But it was all because I did not stick to my stops. I held on to this thing thinking that it was going to come back and it was going to do this and do that, and it didn't. And it just burned me. You know, it just burned me. So I didn't take screenshots of everything I traded yesterday, and I'll just put out. AAP was the one that I had gotten in right here. I just shorted it 100 shares because I was just gonna let it fade the rest of the day. But I did cover some. No, I took all of that off, and I only got $53 on it. This FNSR, I ended up getting $304 on it. If you were in chat in the class yesterday, you know, when we were starting class, you know, why we started late, you know, I was looking at this. I told you I was paying attention to this. I was looking for it to fall back. This thing reported bad earnings and put in this wicked candle here. So I'm looking for it to sell back off, at least to this 200. But, you know, it didn't. It just kind of hung around, and then the conference call came, and then finally we got a big fade. So I took half off here, and I just waited until, you know, right before 6 and took the rest of it off. So I ended up with 304.21. And, you know, here's a loss. I did trade SAGE again. I took it long, and I took it short again. So I ended up only, from where I was down $665, I was down $259.61. And then SEMP I tried and ended up losing money on it. It's just a couple bucks. It didn't work. And then this is the loss on LULU. I did try to trade it again and didn't do well on it. You know, so yesterday was just a tough day, but we fought, and I only was red $333. You know, which is acceptable. You know, my max loss for the day is right at $300. So, you know, I brought it around. I ignored my max loss and I kept trading because I just couldn't walk away with things being the way they were. I just couldn't do it. So that was that mess of a day. So today started out pretty good. SQ was on our scan and we were able to nail it. You can see this was a long bias until it opened, just like yesterday on the trade yesterday. But today I waited. I gave it an extra wait. I didn't get in up here. I waited until we got down and actually got a pretty bad feel because of how bad this thing was falling. And then we get this candle to run all the way back up. And I was sitting here waiting to add. But I was looking to get in another trade. And I was getting ready to get in that trade. But I still had this on the montage. So ended up being a solid entry on this, on the retest and fail of the opening range low. So I got in right here under the opening range low. This improved my average, which would really allow me to let this trade work if it had trouble. But worked out great. Didn't get my order in time to catch the 200, so I had to get it here. Then I got it on the red to green, and then I let it fade. I wanted to get 25, but this just started trading crazy. Look at these candles, and it just didn't look good to me. I wasn't comfortable with the price action. I'd already waited 15 minutes and it wasn't going anywhere, so I had to cover a piece here. And so I was waiting for 38 for the final cover, but we didn't get it. We bounced, and so I went ahead and took it off. And what was going to wait for this retest, yeah, I could have gotten in up here, but I was not shorting into the 9. I just wasn't going to do it because I'm looking at what happened here, and I wanted to make sure we didn't have that same issue. So I got in right before this candle closed, and you can see we still had a lot of choppiness. Took a while for it to get here. So I took it all off, got back in, covered half here, and then, took the rest off up here. A little slippage, but it's fine. It'll be okay. So pretty solid trade on SQ, 433.78 before the final commissions. And then of course I tried my Sage again. And I actually, this thing did work. It did work because I had to get out. I waited through all of this, but I had to get out because the cable guy came, and I upgraded my internet because they had this new. What I think they did was slow my internet down, which gave me all these issues with my platform freezing on screen share, so that I would buy the new upgraded internet, which was 60% faster. And so I had it today. We didn't have any problems in chat, so that was great. But I had to get out of this because this had a $1 spread at times, and I just couldn't see putting a stop out and this thing going, slipping on me and a whole $1 again and all of that. So I went ahead and got out, and this thing fell 2 points on the next candle. I didn't realize it because I wasn't logged in, but when I came back and saw this, then I screamed. But that would have really made my day. Really made my day. So in the end, I only got $74 on this. All right, so you can see my day ended up 434.26 after commissions. So not a bad end to the week. Um, we bumped it up some. We've got more breathing room. I've got, more buying power that allows me more flexibility. So everything is working out now. We started back in October with $1,500, and man, that was hard. The market was bad, and I would get frustrated because I wasn't making any money. I was putting too much pressure on myself and wasn't being free like I am now. Because that's what you guys need to see. Versus me getting frustrated when I'm not making any money. That you can see that at home too. You can look in the mirror and see that. So you don't need to see me doing it or hear me doing it. I sent this out today. This is just reiterating the changes that I made in the community. You sign up for a subscription, whether it's monthly, quarterly, yearly, doesn't matter. The only difference between the prices is that the longer you subscribe, the more of a discount you get. But everybody that's a member of a community now and previously, because there's some that I guess didn't get the memo. They didn't know that they could see the classes and get the recordings and all of that. But if you're a member of the community, you get to participate in every class. You get the recordings. So as soon as you join, you get immediate access to the previous classes. And if you want to do it this weekend, you got time to study. You got time to watch the classes. I teach everything that I do in chat, except blow your stops. I don't teach that. That's something, that's a flaw that you see that I have that you don't want to have. I'm showing you what not to do. So you don't want to follow that. But you can go to averagejoetrader.com and under subscriptions, and you'll see there's only 3: monthly, quarterly, and yearly. And doesn't matter which one you choose, you get everything. So as long as you have an active subscription, you can come to the classes and you can view them. I'll email out the video and the link and the password, and you'll be good to go. Alright, so if you want to get in contact with me, here's my social media. Email me, ed@averagejoetrader.com. And those of you that I've talked to already, anytime you're willing to talk, you want to chat, I'm willing. Sometimes I have to wait for a mentor session or something to finish before I could call, but I will call and I will talk. And so if you have any questions about the subscriptions or what you actually get, feel free to get in touch with me. I'll be glad to talk with you. So you guys have a great weekend. Look forward to the weekly recap coming out this weekend, and swing trade watch list and strategy build session on Sunday at 9 o'clock, and that will be in the swing trade room. So you guys, if I don't see you or talk to you anymore this weekend, have a good one, and we'll be right back at it Monday morning.